For my digital media project, I decided to do a Facebook page following the character Leanna Crone. And I did this because I felt that a Facebook page was the best representation of the themes throughout the story. Such as the idea that everyone belongs to everyone else, and since a Facebook page is online, anyone can go on, look you up, see who you are. And I had the Facebook page follow that character, Leanna Crone, because I felt that although she's not, there's a big chunk of the book where she's not in it, I felt that she was one of the bigger characters in the book because she was the main driving force in a lot of the plot elements. I have her Facebook page starting at the beginning of the book where she can't decide where to go on vacation, then Bernard saying that, convincing her to come with her, and her deciding where to go, then going to the Sours Reservation where she meets the character John, who then they take back to their civilization as a science experiment. Then them slowly becoming better and better friends, going out on dates, things like that, because in their culture they believe that anyone can have anybody whenever they want. Leanna starts to want John more and more, but there's that clash in cultures, so they start getting in arguments. She ends up going over to his house and confronting him because she doesn't understand why he's acting that way. And then I have her posting saying that John's gone crazy and attacked her, and I did that because that John's culture is very old-fashioned. Because he is a Native American, he still believes in the fact that someone would have to earn somebody else if they want them. It's like going out to catch a fox or doing something like that to earn their trust and respect, as well as marriage, and that they would have to get married. So I have that because that clash in cultures caused him to lash out at Leanna. And then the final post at the top, I had her saying that she heard that John was staying in a lighthouse in the countryside, and that she was going out to visit him because she missed him. And I posted that because that was one of the main reasons why at the end of the book John killed himself, was because he was being heckled by large crowds of people like a zoo animal, because news companies came out, secretly recorded him, and people wanted to go out and watch the savage do what he does. And he was enraged and ended up accidentally attacking Leanna, which caused him to become upset and eventually kill himself in the end of the book. The picture that I used to represent Leanna Crone is the character Aina from Firefly, and I chose that picture because I felt that it was a fairly similar look than when I read the description of Leanna, that she was a very popular, pretty alpha, which is the top caste of their civilization. I was looking and trying to find someone that could represent that, and I chose that because she is a high-level escort in the Firefly series. So that kind of made me, that just her character, they just look very similar in my mind. I have her becoming a fan of various things. The main ones that I showed there are Soma, the Feelies, Ford, helicopters, the Archbishop Songster, and obstacle golf. I did Soma because throughout the story she uses Soma to escape from her reality when she's frightened or upset or something like that. The Feelies because throughout the story she goes on various dates with some of the characters, and usually takes them to the Feelies, which is essentially a 5D movie where you feel what the actors are feeling, smell everything. It's in 3D. It's, yeah. Ford, because in the future, technology kind of rules over everything. Religion has been gotten rid of, and they worship technology. And it was all, their year system is based off of the release of the Model T, the first release, which was, so this book takes place in the year 685 AF, which is after Ford. Helicopters, because everyone in this society drives around in helicopters. That's essentially their version of the car. The Archbishop's songster, because when they take John back to their society, Bernard, Lyanna, and John become very famous and popular because everyone wants to get in and meet John, and Lyanna and Bernard are his handlers, so they have to go through them. And so the Archbishop's songster starts to go out on dates with Lyanna, and so that he can get close to John. And finally, obstacle golf, because, again, she goes out on various dates with people to go play obstacle golf, as well as when they are traveling throughout the book, every time they ended up going to a hotel or some sort of place where they were staying, there was always mention of sports such as obstacle golf, escalator tennis, or these very bizarre sounding sports. For her photos, I had her post photos from her trip to the Savage Reservation, because I felt that her character would want to show everyone else what she went through, because Bernard didn't feel as frightened as she did, so it confused her, and I believe that she would want to show everyone else and see if they had the same reaction she did, or if she was just overreacting. As for her friends, I show the top 3, which are Bernard Marx, which is represented by Mr. Bean, because in the story he is described as quirky, odd, somewhat short but lovable, and that made me think of Mr. Bean. The next one is Henry Foster, which is her lover at the beginning and end of the book, and I use that picture because he is the assistant to the director of hatching and conditioning, and since that is the boss of the biggest organization in this civilization, I felt that he was a very high up, very professional looking official. And the last one is John the Savage, and I use that picture of a Native American because when I read the description of John, I really couldn't find too much that would represent him, except for the fact that he is very lanky, had a scar on his face, was white, and not really your typical Native American because he was cast out from everyone else. He was an outcast in his society. So I thought that picture kind of represented that. As for the ads on the side of the Facebook page, the top one is an ad for a lifetime supply of Soma. I did this because in their society, people don't have just bottles and bottles of Soma. It's handed out in ration form every day after you finish work. So and how much she uses it, I felt that an ad on the side for that would be fairly appropriate. Next one is for the Fortean Church, which of sorts, it's not technically a church, and I quoted the book saying that cleanliness is next to Fordliness, and I did that because she is a very by the books person who believes fully in the teachings of Ford, and I thought that ad was only fitting. The next one is for free tickets to the Feelies, and I did that because she goes to the Feelies quite often with various people, so it's mentioned quite often throughout the book, so I thought I should put an ad on it. And the last one is for the new unreleased song by the Archbishop Songster, and I did that because he is mentioned various times throughout the book because he's the one who creates all of the music for this civilization, and it's a very techno-y, digital sounding music, so I used that picture because what made me think to put an ad for that music on there was I heard heard his Dead Mouse's song called Soma, which is actually was influenced by the book Brave New World and sounds like the music that they keep describing throughout the book.